Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, December 14th, 2022. Forgot to tell you that Billy ended up finishing the septic and the leach field and all that stuff, I think on Saturday. So this is where the septic system is going to be in the leach field. So even though they did a dirt mound, it's not that much. It kind of fits the contour of the rest of it. So probably even need to fill in a little dirt in there, but we got time. Either way, I've got all the plumbing done on the inside. Now all I gotta do is connect the main line to the water line. So, coming over this way, show you where all this is gonna happen. I started digging this stuff out because you gotta kind of identify where the power lines are that the guys just ran. So now's a good time to do it. That's where the water is going into the building. You can see the two little stub outs there. That's the little copper stub outs for when we do maybe an outdoor shower or whatever, but we got hot and cold water coming out right there. I hand dug this to identify where things are. So this is where the wire is going underground to the pedestal for the septic pump. And then there's the main feed wire. So that's where the wire's going underground. And then we'll come up there. That way the electric company can put a pedestal there and go up to the power box or the meter panel. So anyways, I've identified where that wire's at, identified where this wire's at, and I've identified the end of the water, which I knew where it was because we put it in there, I don't know, quite a while ago. So we got to go from there to there. Started thinking about hand digging it, and I was like, I'm an idiot. We have a backhoe. So time to put the backhoe on the tractor. So I keep trying to do a video of this, so we'll give it a shot. In order to do this, you got to take off the eye match system first. So what I'm going to do is drop the lever, have this thing go down to take the weight off of it. And then what I got to do is remove these lynch pins. And I'll have to turn off the camera because I got to take that pin out, and the pin out there. That will remove the eye match system. And then this adjusting bar, we've got to remove it, and it gets hung right there. So I'll show you that in a minute, but let me remove the eye match system. So the good news is the John Deere tractor has the installation instructions right here on a stamp. So it says remove top link from the tractor. Well, that's the top link. So I removed it and basically used the pin to stick it in there. It says raise rock shaft and install rock shaft storage weldment. So that rock shaft storage weldment is that bracket right there. To do this, you've got to turn on the tractor. You've got to raise the weldment. And then this bracket goes just like that. Goes in there just like that. Then you got to put your cotter pin in there. So now what I got to do is get on the tractor, and I got to basically back it up. I think within 8 inches. So yeah, it says lift a seat to clear the tractor. So seats up. Back tractor to within 8 inches of the backhoe. Set parking brake and shut off tractor. So we'll stop there. Now what it doesn't tell you is that this is really the hardest part, in my opinion, because what you have to do is line that up perfect to where this bar is lined up with that bracket and that bracket. Now the issue is that if you're on uneven surface, when you go to lift the backhoe onto those latches, if it's crooked, it's not going to line up right. So you may have to wiggle this around even after you've lined it up. At least that's what I've found. So getting it backed up within 8 inches isn't the hard part. Getting it lined up, plus when you go and look over your shoulder, a lot of times you'll kill the engine because of the engine shutoff switch under the seat. So it can really be a little frustrating, but it is what it is. You got to just mess around with it from time to time. So it says obviously set parking brake, shut off tractor, verify swing lock pin is installed. That is that guy, I believe. It even has a little diagram telling you what's what. Connect the Power Beyond system to the backhoe. What it doesn't tell you is you've got to bleed all the lines of every single thing before you do this. Otherwise, it's almost impossible. So, depressurize all your hydraulics. I even do that arm because there's going to be a little pressure in there because it was up. And then just to verify, I even do the hydraulics on the backhoe before doing it. So now the Power Beyond system is the hydraulic lines. You disconnect this guy. When you disconnect it, it's kind of like a scuba diving regulator, low pressure inflator hose that slides back, pulls back. This right here is just the cap, so it's like your dust cover, but it's just a crud cover. That is your male fitting there. And as we disconnect this, there is the female fitting. Basically what you got to do is take these hoses and you connect them. I typically go up right here and connect that one first. You should really try and do this and videotape at the same time. It's quite interesting. But that one goes on there. This one comes up and goes right in there. Now what I do is I bring it to the outside, because when this is swinging around, this will only swing so far so it won't damage your hose. So once those are connected, again, put the little dust cover on that guy. Make sure he's out of the way down here, because what we're about to do is raise this so that that bar is above those hooks. So once again, once the Power Beyond system's attached, make sure your hoses are going up and over. That way they don't get trapped under anything. And we're going to turn the engine back on. Alright, so with the Power Beyond system attached to the backhoe, start tractor and set engine to low idle speed. That's done. Lower stabilizers to raise backhoe until lower shaft is above the hooks. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower these arms. I've already taken the safeties off because I only got one hand since I'm holding the camera with the other. But basically all we're going to do is lower these until the feet come down and start to raise the tractor. And all we're doing is raising it high enough to get that bar above those hooks. Now it says back the tractor up until the lower shaft contacts the tractor frame or the hooks. So I'm going to move the tractor. We'll continue from there. Now with the tractor backed up, you can see that that arm is underneath the hooks. One of the things that I don't believe it tells you you need to do, but you need to remove these pins. Because those pins are eventually going to go through that hole, and through the other side. Now it says lower stabilizers until lower shaft rests in hook. Once that's done, we have to remove this boom pin. So, with that lowered in place, that's right there. What it doesn't tell you is to remove this boom pin, sometimes it's pinched in there. You might have to adjust your arm to get that out of there. So now that we've removed the boom pin and put it in its storage area, it says lower the boom until the upper pinholes align. After that, install both upper install pins. Those are the big pins that we took out. And then you're pretty much done. Raise the boom, install the lock, and raise the stabilizers, and you're out of here. So, I always try to watch when you do this that nothing is getting pinched. Even this guy down here. So make sure everything's out of the way. This is your focal point and where you want to make sure that nothing gets pinched. So by raising the boom arm, you can see that guy is starting to line up. And now that it's almost lined up, go back a little bit farther. The pins should go right in it. This is why good YouTubers have videographers for them. So now with this guy, what I do is I just put him back in here so he's not dragging around. Keep that guy out of the dirt. Your hoses are all out of the way, but what I do is I tuck them down in there. That way they're out of the way, everything looks good and streamlined, everything's connected. So with that done, we can raise the stabilizers. We can raise our boom back up the rest of the way. We install our boom pin. And we are on our way to go dig a ditch for the water line. Yay! And there you have it, with the backhoe attached. It probably took me 20 minutes to do this. It's kind of tricky because you gotta, park the tractor, put the parking brake on, hop off the tractor, climb on the backhoe. You dig 2 or 3, really like 4 feet. Then you gotta get off the backhoe, back onto the tractor, move it 3 or 4 feet, park it, get back on. So it's a long process, but it's how you do it. So now all you got to do is attach the water lines and pressure test everything and then bury this bad boy. Okay, so we got the line ran. We got our box here. We got our regulator, a shut off to the barn in case we got a leak. The T here with another shut off, because what we're going to do is run the rest of this down over here where the citrus farm's at and the garden. So anyways, we got it run. I've already got the water turned on up there where the last access point was. It's got a shut off up there. So now for the moment of truth, Emily's gonna go in there and start screaming if we get a leak. So here we go, moment of truth. Heard everything pressurized. Now we just got to get the air out of the lines. So coming on in.
I don't see anything bad.
I think we're good to go. So now we have officially have the barn completely plumbed. Good day out here at Deer Run Farm.